Baruch Dayan Hamet, we praise the Judge of Truth. If you have one of these fancy schmancy cell phones, or even if it's not fancy and schmancy, turn it off, set it to stun, do not disturb. You know you're here for Lioussia. Other people don't know you're here. Someone will call you. And then someone during the service will not turn it off and it'll ring and you go, oh, I can't believe it. So just, the Cavaliers aren't playing, nothing's going on like that. So just please turn it off. Okay. Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, we praise the Judge of Truth. We gather to lay to rest and to pay tribute to our dear Lioussia. Begin with Psalm 121. Asa enai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitein lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha ad yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakerka v'yirech b'layla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzedcha v'uecha me'ata ve'ad olam. I lift up mine eyes into the mountains, from whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. The Lord will not let your foot give way, your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. We recite the 23rd Psalm in English. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It's a privilege to come forward to speak about Lioussia, their dear babushka. Dima will come forward, Daniel will come forward to begin to talk, and then afterward, Edward will speak. Please come forward.
Извините, мой русский не самый лучший, но если Лioussia была тут, она бы ругалась, если я по-английски говорил. Для тех, кто меня не знает, although I feel like I know everyone, меня зовут Деня, я самый младший внук Лioussin. Спасибо всем, кто пришли и смотрят из дома, с интернета. Мы вас чувствуем тут. Моя сестра Рива очень хотела тут быть, но не могла. Вчера утром она родила второго ребенка, Сашу. И в этом есть большой смысл. Жизнь продолжается, поколения меняют друг друга, и значит все, что учила бабушка, будет жить дальше через нас и через ее правнуков. Сегодня мы прощаемся с золотым человеком, единственной бабушкой, которую я знал в свои 31 года, моя Люська. Трудно представить наше детство без Лioussi. Пока родители работали, бабушка и дедушка были с нами всегда. И нам никогда не было скучно, и мы никогда не были голодными. Лioussia нас научила играть в дурака и никогда не стеснялась хвастаться, когда она обыгрывала. Мы побывали, кажется, в каждом бассейне и в парке города Кливленда. Ну, наверное, самые яркие воспоминания моего детства с Люси, это когда она нас водила в Ричмонд-Молл смотреть кино. Это была чистая Люся. Люся нам давала выбирать фильм, и условие одно, только чтобы был романс и любовь. Люся любила любить. И самое смешное, что бабушка не понимала ни одного слова в фильме. И поворачивалась к нам и говорила, что они там говорят. Попкорн не давала нам покупать, потому что на целую сумку забивала целый холодильник. Бутерброды, пирожки, конфеты. Она нам чистила мандарины в кинотеатре. И это для нее было удовольствие. Oh.
Just step back a little bit.
Got it. How's this? Okay. И дом для нас всегда было место, где все тянулись. Место встречи, смеха. И центром был это ее кухню. Она любила кормить нас всех, и мы очень будем скучать по ее теплый дом и вкусный стол, и особенно ее сырники. И заходить к ней в дом сытым, это было опасно. Если ты не все съел с кухни, со стола, было у тебя бы большие неприятности. Бабушка никогда не боялась говорить правду. Абсолютную правду. Ее дома зеркало было не нужно. Она сама была говорящим зеркалом. Если ты хоть на 1 килограмм поправишься, она тебе сразу скажет. Наверное, большой... Вы меня слышите? Okay, cool. Sorry. Наверное, самое большое всего мне будет не хватать, это когда она меня просила играть на пианино. Я запомню, наверное, 4 мелодии на пианино, и каждый раз она слушала, как это первый раз я играл. Сегодня мы помним, как нам повезло, что она была в нашей жизни так долго. Бабушка, спасибо тебе за мое детство, за тепло, за дом, который ты создала любовью, который навсегда останется с нами. Я всегда буду играть для тебя.
And to those words spoken as a prayer, let us say, Amen. Just don't eat the microphone. It overpowers for the video and everything. Nobody can understand.
Got it.
Здравствуйте всем. Я думаю, я всех знаю, много лет. Ну, я старший внук Тима. Я скажу много, что Дэнни сказал, но по-английски, потому что меня будет легче понять. Покромче? Слышишь? Окей. Баба Люся, 91 years of age. What a life she had lived. As the eldest of 3, she helped raise her younger sisters, Rita and Sofa, who she remained close with, and who traveled from other states to be here today, along with the lineage of family members that they've created. Lioussia chose a career in help, a dentist, one that represented who she was as a person, a strong, devoted woman that cared deeply for people, especially the ones close to her. At age 23, she married the most wonderful man, one of the greatest of men, my grandfather, Roman Eydelkop, who passed in 2012. Roman was beloved. He was a man of respect, a man of humor, a man of care, a man of intellect. He loved my grandmother, and my grandmother loved him. For those that don't know, I'm sure everybody does, Roman incurred a tragic accident early in life. He lost a leg long before he and Lioussia met. And so he spent the majority of his life with a prosthetic leg. My grandmother, knowing this, with the full life ahead, knowing the challenges that would be presented to her, dove face first into their relationship, showing the type of person that she was, one that let love and compassion guide her life. Together they birthed 2 loving children, Tanya and Edik. She adored them, and they adore her until her last breath. I'm certain if you ask any person in this room, they will agree. Lioussia was 100%, absolutely, uniquely one of a kind. She was determined. Well into her 80s, despite being told by the world it's not a good idea, she traveled to France to visit her lifelong friend, a journey way too dangerous for people her age, but not her, and she had the trip of a lifetime. And up until her final months, her perspective never changed. She was capable of everything. She was not fearful of challenges or risks. She saw only the destination and the experience and happiness that it would bring. She was authentic. She never pretended to be anyone but herself. She never tried to please others for the sake of pleasing them or really care what others thought about her. She was as real as it gets, and she was respected for that. And she was true. Too many people in this room probably know all too well, but she always had to say what she was thinking. She could not keep her thoughts to herself, regardless of whether or not it was going to really make the other person upset. Last time I was home, she said, «Дима, ты что-то поправился? Хорошо тебя там кормят в Калифорнии». Above all else, she loved her family, and as Danny said, she fed her family. Her dining table was a gathering place. For us grandkids, me, Danny, Riva, who left Ohio many years ago, it was a symbol of home. And as Danny said, in her death, Grandma had part in creating life. Riva, just yesterday, gave birth to her second son, a beautiful baby boy, Alexander Higgins, who joins a list of 3 of her great-grandbaby children, his brother, Aiden Higgins, and his cousin, Lioussia Eydelkop. In her final months, she said, «Таких правнуков мир никогда не видел». May we all move forward, remembering the great moments Lioussia shared with everyone, and knowing that she's at peace, and celebrate the life that she created for others.
Amen. And to those words we say Amen. Edward.
Thank you. Дорогие родственники, дорогие друзья, знакомые, сегодня мы провожаем последний путь мою маму. Извиняюсь, меня нелегко. Сегодня нам тяжело подобрать слова. Потеря мамы – это потеря устойчивости. Основа того, на чем держится жизнь. Как у всех. Но я хочу выразить благодарность за жизнь, за любовь, за то, что она дала нам вместе с папой. Она была женщиной жизнерадостной, очень боевой. Она любила путешествовать, любила travel. И даже в последнюю минуту что-то болячка ко мне прицепилась, я хочу во Францию поехать, к своей подруге. Они вместе работали. Она была женщиной большой внутренней силы, прожила длинную, радостную, счастливую жизнь и передала нам позитив и радость к жизни. В нашем доме всегда было место заботы, уважения и благодарности. Она учила нас не словом, а делом и примером. Она умела поддерживать и направлять нас. Наша семья перенесла большую потерю, лишив основания составляющей нашей жизни. Сегодня мы прощаемся с тобой, но ты всегда будешь в наших сердцах. Мама, благодарю тебя за мудрые и правильные советы, которые ты нам давала. Помогала избегать многих неприятностей и препятствий. Твое доброе сердце, золотые руки и лучистые глаза навеки останутся в наших сердцах. Мама, ты была главная в нашей жизни. Ты дала жизнь. И сегодня мы, твои дети, прощаемся с тобой. Но ты всегда будешь жить в наших сердцах. Люблю тебя. Никогда не забуду. Все время с тобой. Спасибо, что пришли ребята и родственники. Эта вечная память будет с нами. Аминь.
We gather this afternoon to pay tribute to a good woman, a determined woman, an energetic woman. Her sister said she had more energy than she did, and she was much older. She had so much energy. She was about a boost. She was the commander of the family and the commander of the house. She was helpful to others. She was helpful to you because she let you know what she thought about things, right? Whether you wanted to know or not, she told you. She was honest. She had a good Yiddish neshama, a good Jewish soul. On Tuesday, as we sat at Tatiana's house, Tatiana spoke about their early lives and the lives of their grandparents and the lives of Jews in the Soviet Union who were constrained by the shackles of communism. And as you know, most Jews didn't practice very, very much. They were Jewish in their heart, but didn't practice very much for people to see because of anti-Semitism. And it was a reminder of a story. Lioussia was born in 1934, so this happened when she was 14 years old. In 1948, with the creation of the State of Israel, Israel sent Golda Meir in 1948 to be the first Israeli ambassador to Russia. And she arrived in Moscow. And the Israelis were not sure how the Russians would react because they thought, well, the Bolsheviks in 1917 outlawed Jewish education, so maybe there are no Jews left. But maybe, we'll see. But they weren't sure. And the Israelis were told, don't contact your Russian family. And the Russian Jews knew that they were not to contact the Israelis so much because it could be problems. So Golda comes and she starts to have a Friday night tea in the Israeli embassy. Not a Shabbos service, just a tea to invite the Russians, the Jews, to come. And some came. Not a lot, but some came. And then Golda decided that she was going to go to the Choral Synagogue in Moscow for Rosh Hashanah in October 1948. And word began to go out through the city in the Jewish community that Golda's going to be there for services for Rosh Hashanah. And when Golda arrived, she wrote in her autobiography, when she arrived, there were tens of thousands of Moscow's Jews outside the synagogue, touching her and calling to her, Golda, Golda. She couldn't imagine who all these Jews were. She hadn't seen that many Jews while she was there. And then she wrote in her autobiography, it occurred to her, these good, brave Jews came to show support for Israel, came to show support for the Jewish people. part of the Jewish people. And she was so moved, she said she could barely speak. And as she walked through the crowd up the steps, she just knew a little Yiddish. She said, Gedank, Gedank, thank you, thank you. Thank you for remaining Jews. And as we gather this afternoon, we're sad. And as we look to one another and look at one another, a similar spirit, a similar feeling rises up within us. Thank you for remaining Jews. All the way from Russia, whether you were born in Ukraine or someplace else, all the way from Russia, former Soviet Union, to Cleveland, Ohio, thank you for remaining Jews. Lioussia and Roman were born on the same day in 1934, in the same city, but at different hospitals. That's what Lioussia said at the time of Roman's funeral in 2012. And she said, we met at the wedding of friends. We were students, and we married August 14, 1958, and they had a good marriage. And many have been the blessings of family. I will try to mention everybody by name. If I make a mistake, just call it out. Okay, just correct me right away. We feel comfortable, right? Her parents, Siomo Kornitsky and Olga Beinstock, her parents, Shlomo and Golda. She's one of 3 children born to them. Lioussia, of blessed memory, the eldest, Rita and Sophia. My condolences. Her husband, Roman. Now we have children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And as Tatiana and I were talking yesterday, and as Danny mentioned, I think it was Danny, no. Dima, I think you mentioned. Both of you mentioned, one in Russian and one in English. Okay. The Russian I didn't get as much. Although, I got a bunch of words in Russian. No swear words. Don't want any swear words. That the little great-grandson was born, great-grandson to her, born yesterday, Alexander. And we talked about this in life, People go and people come. And it's a beautiful time for him to come. Because even as sad as you are, it brings some joy and some comfort. Okay, Tatiana and Alexander, Edward, Angela. We have Riva and Tyler, the one who just gave birth yesterday. Danny. No. Yes, Danny. We have Dima, Valeria, Ludmila, Bella, and great-grandchildren generation, Aiden, and the new one, Alexander. Briss will be coming up soon. Alistair Wolf Eydelkop, they talked about him. He should be a king with a name like that. Alistair Wolf Eydelkop. He should be a king. All right. Maybe one day. And Anthony. Is that everyone? Okay, good. Because if you leave someone out, you want to do it on purpose, not by accident. So didn't want to leave anybody out. On Monday, Lioussia breathed her last, and now her soul is returning to God. And her soul is at peace, and this is a time of rest and wholeness and peace. Judaism teaches her soul returns to God to be with the souls of her dear husband and family and friends and ancestors of our people. And we learn this in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. Our souls go to a time called Olam Haba. Olam Haba is the world to come. And when we bury her remains in the ground, her soul is already on its way to God. The cemetery is a physical place. Olam Haba, in the world to come, is a spiritual place. It's not a spiritual place. It's a spiritual place. It's not a physical place, and Judaism teaches our souls will be together with our loved ones. So one day, your souls will be together with your dear Lioussia. We are also sending along a couple of old prayer books with her because it's a mitzvah to provide respectful burial for holy books of our tradition. And also we are sending along an old Passover Haggadah. Pesach, as you know, is a time when we recall and we give thanks for our ancient liberation from Egyptian slavery. And we are freed today because of God's deliverance so many, many years ago. And Lioussia, our dear Lioussia, she is now free from any pain or deterioration. And so we send along a Passover Haggadah for that. Also, we send along a Passover Haggadah because you who came from the former Soviet Union, we talk about being liberated to a free market, liberated from the shackles of communism and that kind of anti-Semitism, free of that. And she is free of that and free of pain and deterioration. And you have many, many memories of her. We saw pictures of her as she was traveling. The pictures that we saw of her traveling, she was so filled with life. And we should try to be filled with life and energy and take good care of one another. And let us do this in her loving memory. And so we conclude with words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, v'Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Muvarach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord, and let us say, Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, yimru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of our dear Lioussia Eydelkop. And let us say, Amen. In a moment, we will go in procession to the cemetery. And if you are going to be a pallbearer, be ready. They will call for, the funeral director will call for pallbearers. After the interment at the cemetery, we will recite Kaddish there. And then after, the family is invited, everyone is invited to go back. You're inviting them to the restaurant? Of course, of course. Everyone is invited to go to Europa. And her name will be on our Kaddish list tonight at services. We'll recite Kaddish for her for 30 days for the Shloshim. We'll pray for her tonight. We'll pray for her so on Wednesday, the kids in Hebrew school, they need reps on the Kaddish. And we'll pray for her on Sunday mornings. The kids need reps on the Kaddish on Sunday mornings. It can't be that I'll wear a dentist tie every time that we're saying Kaddish for her, but every once in a while we'll break out the dentist tie for her, but we will recite Kaddish for her. So please rise for El Maleh Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of our dear Lioussia Eydelkop, for you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im kadoshim u'tahorim, kizohara kiyamasirim, et nishmat Lioussia bat Shlomo v'Golda, shalachal olama, Ba'al harachamim, yasdireha b'sete kanafav le'olamim. Vayitzro b'tzorah ha'chaim, et nishmata Adonai hu nachalata, v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava. V'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to dear Lioussia bat Shlomo v'Golda. She has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. And now the funeral directors will come forward and give us instructions to go to Mount Sinai Cemetery.
This side, sir. Now it's going to come through these doors. I'm going to want to turn towards the hearse.